Hello everyone, welcome to the Special Education Physiology class. Respiration is the foundation of life. Our lives begin with that first cry at birth. It is also this loud cry that opens our lungs, marking a new starting point and challenge. Breathing is such a natural process that we are unaware of its existence until we mention it. How does breathing actually occur? To understand how breathing occurs, let's first learn what respiration is. Respiration is the process of gas exchange between the organism and the external environment. In humans and higher animals, the complete process of respiration consists of three parts: external respiration, transport of gases in the blood, and internal respiration. External respiration refers to the gas exchange process between pulmonary capillary blood and the external environment, including two processes: pulmonary ventilation and pulmonary gas exchange. Pulmonary ventilation is the gas exchange between the lungs and the external environment. Pulmonary gas exchange is the gas exchange between the alveoli and the pulmonary capillary blood. Internal respiration, also called tissue gas exchange, refers to the gas exchange process between tissue capillary blood and the tissue cells. The intermediate link connecting external and internal respiration is gas transport, referring to the transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, whereby the circulatory system transports oxygen-rich arterial blood from the lungs to the tissues, and transports carbon dioxide-rich venous blood from the tissues to the lungs. These three links are interconnected and occur simultaneously. Respiration is one of the basic functions essential for the body to maintain normal metabolism and life activities. Once respiration stops, life will cease. Pulmonary ventilation is the foundation of the entire breathing movement, and its power originates from respiratory movements. Therefore, respiration in the narrow sense usually refers to breathing movements. Let's see which components participate in breathing movements. First is the respiratory system, including organs such as the nose, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, and lungs. Additionally, the pleura, thoracic cage, and respiratory muscles are involved. During respiration, the organs of the respiratory system primarily provide the sites for gas flow and exchange. The thoracic cage and respiratory muscles mainly provide the power for breathing. The pleura, through its unique structure, links these two together, enabling thoracic cage movements to drive the expansion and contraction of the lungs. Next, let's see how gases enter and exit our lungs. According to physical principles, gases always flow from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure. For example, the steam release from a pressure cooker during use or air leaking from a tire are manifestations of gas flowing from high to low pressure. Therefore, to enable gas to enter, exit, or flow, there must be a pressure difference between the alveoli and the outside atmosphere. The pressure difference between alveolar air and the external atmosphere is the direct driving force for pulmonary ventilation. In daily life, at the same altitude, atmospheric pressure is relatively constant. Thus, during breathing, what changes can only be the pressure of the gas within the alveoli, namely intraalveolar pressure or interpulmonary pressure. Changes in intraalveolar pressure during breathing depend on the expansion and contraction of the lungs. However, the lungs themselves do not have the ability to actively expand and contract. Their expansion and contraction rely on the rhythmic expansion and contraction of the thoracic cage. And the expansion and contraction of the thoracic cage are caused by the contraction and relaxation of the respiratory muscles. Therefore, the rhythmic breathing movements caused by the contraction and relaxation of the respiratory muscles are the primary motive force for pulmonary ventilation. Furthermore, resistance is encountered during the flow of gases into and out of the lungs. The resistance encountered during pulmonary ventilation is called pulmonary ventilation resistance. It can be divided into two categories: elastic resistance and non-elastic resistance. The former includes pulmonary elastic resistance and thoracic cage elastic resistance. The latter includes airway resistance, inertial resistance, and tissue viscous resistance. During quiet breathing, elastic resistance accounts for about 70% of the total pulmonary ventilation resistance, and non-elastic resistance accounts for about 30%. Elastic resistance persists even at rest when airflow has stopped. Thus, it is a static resistance. whereas non-elastic resistance occurs only when gas is flowing. Hence, it is a dynamic resistance. Increased pulmonary ventilation resistance is the most common cause of clinical pulmonary ventilation disorders. The flow of gases into and out of the lungs depends on the interaction between the driving forces for pulmonary ventilation, the ventilation resistance. It is the result of the periodic contest between these two forces. Once this balance is disrupted, it leads to difficulty in breathing movements. Rehabilitation link. In rehabilitation therapy, patients with respiratory diseases, such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, bronchial asthma, and patients with neuromuscular diseases leading to secondary respiratory disorders, often undergo breathing training. To achieve goals such as reducing dyspnea symptoms, improving exercise tolerance, and enhancing quality of life, breathing training involves practicing high-efficiency breathing techniques to strengthen respiratory muscles and improve breathing coordination. Common breathing training methods include pursed lip breathing, diaphragmatic, abdominal breathing, and segmental, local breathing.